Hey, today we're going to talk about three tried and true, highly effective ways that can almost guarantee that you're going to get the results you want physique wise. Um, I'm fully aware that this information isn't the only thing out there. This is just what I've learned is the most effective way. There's many different ways to do it. I'm also aware that a lot of people aren't going to like my message today because it's not going to be the popular opinion. A lot of people claim that they tell you what you need to know and not what you want to hear and all these other things, but you'll see. This is something that I'm going to get probably some blowback on, but all I can tell you is that for sure this stuff works. It's just not the easy road. So let's get into it. So point number one, you're going to want to obtain metrics. So what do I mean by that? I mean that you're going to need to first off go buy yourself a digital food scale. You can typically get one for about $10 at Amazon or something, and you're going to use this to measure your food. Okay, so you get your food scale, you order your food, and then you're going to measure your food, and you're going to then log your food into like a calorie counter, like MyFitnessPal or something along those lines. And once you have the amounts of this amount of chicken equals this amount of calories, this amount of proteins, this amount of carbohydrates, whatever, you're going to log that. And so that way you'll be able to keep track of this is how many meals I'm eating a day, this is the macros and calories that I'm taking in, and you're going to know exactly what you're doing. Another thing is you're going to want to take measurements of your body weight. You're going to need a bathroom scale, something that's going to be easy. A lot of people, or I guess because of the complexes that we do and because we prioritize the number on the scale, and in the aesthetic world, they don't necessarily care so much about how much you weigh. It's more about how you look and feel. But I believe that data is good data. You can't have too much of it, so you're going to want to weigh yourself. Okay. You're also going to want to log your workouts. There is such a thing as progressive overload. And all that means, people throw it around nowadays, but it just means that you're progressing in the gym. You're taking, the heaviest set on your bench press and you're getting an extra rep. You're adding 5 pounds every 2 weeks on your bench press or something like that. It's really hard to judge or gauge how you're doing if you can't document this stuff and then see an upward trend. So obtaining metrics, as boring as that may be, and as tedious as it can be, it's the way to go. Number two, probably the most hate I'm going to get on this video is that you're going to want to figure out what works for you meal wise, and you're going to want to eat that same meal or those same meals consistently. What do I mean by that? So let's say that you know that 8 ounces of grilled chicken breast equals this many calories, this much protein. Your body handles and digests it well. You also know that for a carbohydrate source you like jasmine rice. So you do a cup of jasmine rice. You now know that jasmine rice, a cup of jasmine rice, 8 ounces of grilled chicken breast equals this many calories, this much protein, this much fat, and that fits into your macros, and that's what's going to help you. Regardless if you're going to try to add weight by going into a surplus, by adding more rice or more chicken, regardless if you're going to maintain your body weight at the same amount calorically, or if you're going to go into a deficit, you need to subtract some of that. The meals don't change, okay? The most successful people I've ever seen ate the same thing all the time. Something like egg whites and, oatmeal for breakfast. 3 meals of chicken and rice, okay? They would just season it different. So, one day they're throwing Cholula on it, the next thing it's hot sauce, sweet and sour sauce, whatever. You just got to be cognizant of the calories that's in the sauces, but it's the same food with different spices. They try to change the way it tastes. And then at night, maybe they'd have like a protein shake and a piece of fruit or something. I don't know. But that was what I was consistently seeing. And those people benefited greatly from it. For one, think about how easy it is to make a grocery list. If all you eat is chicken, well, that's what's on your list. And that's all you need, chicken. Also, there's no weight fluctuation question. So if you're eating a certain amount of food and you're maintaining a certain amount of body weight, you could, let's just use the chicken and rice thing, for example. You eat chicken and rice at your house, it's the same amount, you weigh the same all the time, whatever. And then one night you go out to a restaurant and for some dumb reason you'd order chicken and rice. The next day you're going to wake up and more than likely you're going to weigh more. You're going to weigh 2-3 pounds more because of how it's cooked. You don't have that problem at your house, okay? It's because it's somebody else's food. So there's no worry about it. You buy your food, you weigh it out, you prep it. You can prep it for up to 2 weeks. Do a vacuum seal bag, freeze it, heat it up. You're good to go. But that's what you have to do. Number 3, the final point is that you want to be consistent. Okay, so I've seen, and I was actually discussing this with a client today, is that you can basically put the human body through anything. I mean, there's so much. We're so resilient to so much pain, and we can endure so much. The body will adapt in most situations. It's if somebody fails a diet, if somebody fails a workout routine, it's the psychological end of it. Okay, it's because that person gave up, and they tried something and they could not be consistent with it. Okay, you're never going to see real results unless there's some consistency. Think about, if you're an overweight person, think about how long it took you to be overweight. You don't wake up obese. It takes time. You consistently ate in a surplus. You consistently took in more calories than you burned. Therefore, way down the road, you became obese. Okay, you don't gain it overnight. You won't lose it overnight. These people who have just these professional bodybuilders, open class guys that are monsters, they didn't wake up that way. Okay, that wasn't just he's such a freak, he just woke up and he's that big. It takes time. So you need to be consistent in all things. Okay, it doesn't mean that you need to be consistent on something that's not going to work for you. You need to set yourself up for success. So when you're doing your programming, okay, or somebody's writing out your programming, you want to make sure that you're not being unrealistic. What I mean by that, what I mean is, when somebody's writing it out, you don't want to say, you can hold me accountable, I'm going to work out 6 days a week. Okay, that's tough. Some people can, but more than likely you're setting yourself up for failure. What happens when you get 5, which is still a pretty good accomplishment? You still didn't get 6, okay? You need to be realistic about what you can do. You need to set your expectations to that level and then execute, okay? And by doing that, you'll be consistent. If you're getting with somebody who's writing out your diet and they know what they're doing, you should start off with the most amount. And if you're trying to lose weight and they put you in a deficit, it should be a deduction at a slow pace, to where you don't just go into a huge starvation mode, right? Where you're just starving to death and that's all you can think about is food. It's a progressive measure too. I mean, you don't just jump into these things. So set yourself up for success. And then once the formula is right, be consistent, okay? This is not the easy road, okay? On top of that, the key thing that I had to learn is it's not really about the end result. It's not about my goal. It's about enjoying the process. Because if you can't enjoy this process, you're not going to make it. This is a long road, and there's a lot to be accomplished and a lot to get out of this. But you can't just be in it for the last day, okay? So anyway, I hope that helped. If y'all have any questions, hit me up. Other than that, I wish you luck, and until we meet again, y'all take care.